Some things never change. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. You know, with the bye week, our football team certainly looking forward to playing Delaware State. I think it's important for us to continue to move forward as a football team. We utilize a bye week to improve on fundamentals early in the year. That's always important, and then get ourselves ready for Delaware State. So we're excited about playing a football game. I know that there's a lot of other activities going on at NDSU as well, but our main business at hand is taking care of the things that are in between the lines, and we've got a good opponent that's coming into Fargo here. We got to play well. So at this time, questions?
Coach, the impact of ESPN coming here to see your team broadcast 3 hours live on Saturday.
Well, I think that's, you know, I don't know if the stars aligned right, or maybe a combination of a body of work by a whole lot of players in the past and administration. Some national recognition is certainly well received, and we appreciate that. But what's really important for us, Dom, is for us to get ready to play a football game. And as I said earlier, what goes on between the lines doesn't have a lot to do with game day. But make no mistake, the recognition for our institution and for our football program and our athletic department, I think, is exponential. I don't know if that would be the correct term, but it's going to have, I think, a long-lasting effect on how we're viewed nationally.
Coach, I ask this as a serious question because I know you really like coaching. Mm-hmm. Are you concerned about it cutting into your coaching time? All this extraneous stuff.
It comes with the territory, and you know, when we made this transition from Division II to Division I, we knew that, and that comes into with what you do. So you know, a lot of short nights and a lot of long days, and that's where we've been the last couple of years. And I think it hasn't slowed down. It's probably picked up a little bit.
Coach, you mentioned that you have a veteran group who usually responds well to challenges and things like this. Any concern that this can be a distraction to them? As opposed to
it's always a concern, coaches. You know, I don't want to say we're paranoid, but we're always concerned about complacency or distractions. The things that we do look for is our, you know, our effort and competency on the practice field. That's been my best indicator of getting a football team ready to play. I have not seen that. You know, I think our guys have handled things well. I know that there's a, you know, more ask of our players as far as interviews and things like that, but it does help the fact that they've played an awful lot of football, and I think they are a very seasoned, mature football team. And so I've not seen any signs of that right now.
Did you address your captains about all this ESPN stuff? Was that part of your Sunday meeting?
Yep. We had a good talk about it, and you know, I think any guy that plays college football, it's a neat deal. You know, you see game day come to your campus and things like that. But these guys have really been good, Jeff, as far as taking care of business at hand. And like I said earlier, I have not seen anything as far as you know, distraction from you know, getting ready to practice and get ready to play.
As a coach, how can you use this? Is it a recruiting tool that you can use if game days coming here? You said you saw some results already from the Kansas State game. How about the?
Oh, it's already had an effect. There's some guys coming on campus right now that I don't think would have come up to a game, and so, you know, it changes how you're perceived when all of a sudden you pick up the phone and say, "Hey, game day's coming." I didn't even have to pick up the phone. They knew, they saw, and they asked to come. So I think we're going to see a bounce from a recruiting standpoint. And I'm not only football. I would like to think for all our athletic programs, the visibility is going to be helpful.
Coach, will you have a role in that program at some point? Have you been talking about that?
No. I know the years that I was at Nebraska, we coached a game. No one's talked to me, and our main focus right now is Delaware State.
Speaking of Delaware State, I'll be the guy to ask the question. Can you just tell me a little bit about Delaware State, a little bit, what you see?
Great. Thanks for asking about Delaware State, since we're playing Delaware State. You know, they've gotten off to a tough start, but I think they played two good football teams. they pose some challenges for our offense from the standpoint, they can operate out of multiple fronts, and at times that plays really well for them. They can be, disruptive for an offense and get you out of rhythm, or at times it has hurt them. There's been a lot of big plays against them both ways. And so, I know our offensive coaches, and I've been in there meeting with them to make sure that we've got a good plan. Over on defense, they're a wide open offense. They can run the football, but, they've lined up a lot of times with no backs in the backfield, all kinds of different passing schemes that present challenges. They're solid in the kicking game. And so it's going to be important. They're not a conventional offense or a conventional defense by any means, and that in itself poses some real challenges for us.
Coach, what do you think your team after 2 weeks of the bye week needs to improve on the most heading into this Delaware State game?
Well, I feel like defensively we did not control the game the whole way through last time we played. That there was a time when we were about ready just to slam the door, and we've got to do that for us to continue to improve, to play really, really well. I think our tackling got a little bit marginal in the second half, and we need to credit, I thought Ferris State had a couple good players that we had a difficult time bringing to the ground. Offensively, we need to continue to move forward, but last game was probably one of our more complete games, and I thought Brock really threw the ball well. We caught the ball well. And from that standpoint, and then I think in the kicking game, probably need to improve a little bit on our kickoff coverage.
Coach, you faced some mobile quarterback in these 2 games, had problems getting into the ground. Is Corey Murphy a guy that you have to worry about scrambling?
Well, he scrambles some, but that's not a big portion of their game. They've been more in the drop back mode. Doesn't mean that they won't change. He is an athletic quarterback, but the quarterback run game that we were confronted with, like we got confronted with against Ferris State, I don't think we'll see that.
Craig, you talked about Tom Osborne's blueprint. How would you describe that blueprint?
Oh gosh, that's somebody once told me if you've got a really good idea and you can't put it on the back of an envelope, you don't have a very good idea. I think Coach Osborne really had a great understanding of where Nebraska was at, the type of players that you could attract that were playing for the University of Nebraska instead of at Nebraska. Believed in running the football and stopping the run, and having a sound philosophy on offense, defense, and in the kicking game, and tweaking that from year to year, but not changing all the time, developing a great deal of continuity. And I'd like to think that we've taken a lot of those principles and applied them here. We have a lot of players in our locker room that play for North Dakota State, not at North Dakota State. We're a solid physical football team that likes to play disciplined football, and maybe it's not real flashy, but it works.
Have you deviated from that at all very much in any areas?
From what we first, from his blueprint, it's dangerous to start comparing blueprints, but no, well, we don't run a lot of option football. Coach ran a lot of that, but no, a lot of the things that we do here, Jeff, are straight from the stuff that a couple guys had a profound effect when I was there. Charlie McBride, our defensive coordinator, Tom Osborne, and Milt Tenneper, and those guys are, I wouldn't say when you say you have guys that are father figures to you, but, I was a player when all those guys were there. I was a graduate assistant, and then later came back and was a full-time coach, and they had a pretty long-lasting impression on me.
Did the bye week allow you to get your banged-up guys back to 100%?
Yeah, I think Joe Hagel will be back. So we're excited about that. Brendan Pierre looks like he may be back. I don't know about Jordan Champion yet, though. And some of the other guys that got a little bit nicked up had a chance to get the bumps and bruises healed.
You mentioned that Brock has been throwing the ball better. How big is that just for the offense to have both facets, the run game and the pass game, working?
Well, I think it makes a big impact. Defenses aren't able to load up the box. You're able to play action pass on first down, and you know, if you do come into a third down and long situation, before you were just saying, hey, you can dial the punt team up. Well, we've converted a lot more, and you know, our balances of run-pass ratios are much more even now, and that poses a big problem for a defense. And so Brock's is confident right now as what he's ever been. Our receivers are catching the ball well, and our offensive line's doing an excellent job protecting him.
Coach, you feel that ESPN coming here is bigger exposure than what Kansas State was to start the year?
Oh, it's a different type of exposure, yeah. That win over Kansas State, anyway, everybody can debate it however they want to. That was a signature win for a program. It was different than a national championship. This is an exposure from a recruiting standpoint, you know, that I think will have a long-lasting effect.
You know Lee Corso at all?
You know, I used to talk to those guys when I was at Nebraska, Herb Street and Corso, and they'd call up asking about, I don't know if they remember me. I don't know. We'll find out. Yeah. Not so fast, my friend. I can say that.
All the stars kind of aligned this past weekend to how special was it to be able to watch Aaron play in person.
Well, that was a neat deal, and you know, for me as a dad to be able to go over and watch him play, even though it was a kind of a rainy day. It was disappointing that the MSUN didn't win, but it was fun. It was great to see that.
Coach, in terms of football IQ, where does Grant Olson rank among players and coaches?
The players that I've coached, top. A lot of them. Yeah. Yeah, he's a top. And there's been some really smart ones. You know, there's been some really talented ones, but yeah, he's the smartest one. Sometimes, you know, he'll drive you a little bit nuts. He comes up on the sideline and says, Coach, I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but maybe I could do this and that. I said, Grant, it sounds like you're trying to tell me how to do my job. Yeah, he's really been a pleasure to coach. Pleasure to coach.
Think he'll be a good football coach when he's done here?
Yes. Yeah, you know, he's not only smart, but he's got a great value system. He communicates well. You know, I think he's got a really bright future if he wants to go into coaching. I would encourage him. I have encouraged him to go into coaching.
Speaking of coaching, Coach, one more win and you'll be the all-time wins leader here at ADSU. What type of honor would that be for you?
And I have really thought about that. And people can say whatever they want to, but, you know, we're in the midst of a great season. And I think if you maybe stay long enough in one spot, you have a shot to do something like that. And so, but it's a minor thing compared to everything else that's going on.
Is this weekend something you can reflect on immediately, or you have to wait till after the season about ESPN coming here, which Amal just asked about? Is that something you can't really enjoy right now?
No, you know what? I think coaches, we live in the presence, and so to you know, mull over those things right now is pretty counterproductive. Anything else? Okay, thanks a lot.